Hey guys, Bird Yugioh here. So right off the bat, no, I'm not doing 4 deck profiles today. These are actually, I'm just giving you guys a little sneak peek into some decks that I have coming up. So we're gonna be doing Herald of Perfection. That will be coming up soon. The new, can't really see it because Appliancer deck. That's a new deck that just came out. Pretty cool. Mermail will be coming up, and then this mystery deck. All you can see obviously is Armageddon Knight. It's definitely not a Armageddon Knight deck. It definitely can abuse that card. So down in the comments, let me know maybe what you think that deck might be. But it is super spicy, super cool deck. But yeah, so we're not doing actually any of these today. I was just kind of showing you those so you can see what's coming up and hopefully get excited for those decks. Today, though, we are actually doing a Kaiju deck. And just like most of my kind of archetype based decks, I like to keep them as pure as I can. Like especially with like my Burning Abyss. You'll never see me do some mishmash, level 3 Burning Abyss spam. I kind of like to stick with it pure. So we're doing the same thing with this Kaiju deck. Going as pure as we can. It's gonna be really cool. So let's get right into it. Again, I'll post a link down in the comments and in the description. If you guys need any Yu-Gi-Oh cards, especially some of the ones seen in this video, the cheapest and best place to get them is tcgplayer. And I have a link. If you use that link, you will help me out a lot. So let's get right into this with pretty much the best Kaiju ever made, which is Gamma Seal. 3 of them. It's the only one we play 3 of because it is by far the best one. Basically, if you don't know what Kaijus do, you tribute a monster your opponent controls and you special summon this to their field. So you basically just flat out get rid of any monster they have. And then if your opponent controls a Kaiju, you can special summon one for from your hand for free. And that's basically the effect that all of the Kaijus have. And then they all have their kind of own effect, which Gamma Seals is obviously the best. His is when your opponent activates a card or effect, you can remove 2 Kaiju counters anywhere on the field, negate the activation, and banish that card. So really good. All of those are good. Just banishing it, negating it, all of that. Everything's good. And also, if you didn't notice, I didn't say once per turn. So if you have say 6 Kaiju counters on the field, you can use that effect 3 times to just negate and banish 3 effects. Really good. Also, another thing I forgot to mention with Kaijus, you can only control 1 Kaiju. So you're not going to be able to have, a Gamma Seal plus another Kaiju to negate some other stuff. You can just have 1 on the board at any time. So on your side of the field. And then 2, Thunder King. He's actually one of my favorite ones. Again, same effects. You can special summon him to your opponent's field or special summon it to yours if your opponent controls a Kaiju. But his effect, you can remove 3 Kaiju counters from anywhere on the field, and your opponent's cards and effects cannot be activated for the rest of this turn, and this card can make up to 3 attacks on monsters during the battle phase. So really cool. He's 3,300 attack, so just a beast. I really like him. And then also, another one that's very good is Radian. Playing 2 of him, he is good because you can remove 2 Kaiju counters and you special summon a Radian token, which is 2,800 attack. It's a really nice beater. It just kind of allows you the options of just going into so many more plays. Or, like I said, just getting another beater on board, another 2,800 attack. Really cool. And then we also are playing 2 Jizukiru. Now, he removes 3 counters from anywhere on the field. And when a card or effect is activated that targets 1 card, you can, like I said, remove 3 counters, and then you'll destroy 1 card on the field. Negate that effect, and then destroy 1 card on the field. So you're negating 1 plus getting rid of anything. So he's kind of cool to have. And again, he's another one of the higher attack ones. He's got 3,300 attack, so really nice there. And then the one-ofs, one Doggeran. You definitely can play it at more than one if you want. He's another one. He's 3,000 attack, really nice. But once per turn, you can remove 3 Kaiju counters from anywhere on the field and destroy all monsters your opponent controls. So that right there is an amazing effect. The only problem is this card cannot attack the turn you activate that effect. So that's the only downside, but otherwise, obviously, just destroying all monsters your opponent controls is pretty nice. And then one Godarla. This one's obviously really nice to give your opponent, especially off a Kaiju Slumber, because once per turn, during either player's turn, you can remove 3 Kaiju counters from anywhere on the field, and the attack and defense of all other monsters in the field become halved. So that's one. So you have to kind of remember, with the Kaijus, your opponent can use their effects as well. If they have, a quick effect that can be used during either player's turn. So this one is probably the least useful one that's going to hurt you. So that's why you usually want to give this one to your opponent. And then actually, surprisingly, one of the worst ones to especially give your opponent is Humongous, because this one really can potentially affect you, because when you're his effect is when your opponent normal or special summons a monster, you can remove 3 Kaiju counters from anywhere on the field, and until the end of the next turn, that monster cannot attack, and its effects are negated. So if you give this to your opponent, and then you special summon, another Kaiju, and you have counters, your opponent's going to be using this on you to make sure that Kaiju won't be able to attack, and then you're going to leave them with a Kaiju they can do anything with on their next turn. So you definitely don't have to play it. Like I said, you can play 2 Doggeran if you want, but I like to have just more options, more names. So that's it for all the Kaijus that we're playing. And then another really cool, this is kind of a going second deck, so Pankratops is a really nice card, especially if you're going second. It's just one of those cards that you special summon it, and you're pretty much, you're not obviously free to do whatever you want, but you're a lot more comfortable, going through your plays if you have a Pankratops on board. Really, really nice cards, like I said, especially if you're going second. And then our normal summons in the deck, we have Inspector Boarder. He is absolutely amazing. He's going to help you from getting hand trapped and stuff. You're basically just going to normal summon him and then be able to, special summon your Kaijus and basically do whatever you want. He's really, really good. And then our other normal summon, which goes great with the Kaijus, is Fairy Tale Luna. Because she is during either player's turn, so it's a quick effect, really nice. You could target one face-up monster your opponent controls, and you return that card to the hand and this card to the hand. So imagine giving them a Kaiju, and then normal summon this, and then you return that Kaiju back to your hand and Luna back to your hand, and then you can Kaiju another monster. Really cool. They can negate this, though, that effect, by sending a monster from their deck or extra deck with the same name. But obviously, if you give them pretty much any of the Kaijus, they're not going to have one in their deck, especially like Godarla. I've never had that happen where your opponent's going to have a Godarla in their deck that they can negate a Luna with. It just doesn't happen. Even ones like Thunder King or Radian. So it's really nice with Kaijus. Really nice normal summon. And then, again, since we're going second with this deck most of the time, play one of the best hand traps in the game, one of the best cards to have in your hand if you have to go second. Gamma, and then obviously the one driver. It's absolutely amazing, and now it's super cheap because you can get them obviously in rare version. So definitely play those. And then I'm choosing to play Effect Veiler. It is still one of my favorites. It's never let me down. It's always good. Your opponent normal summons a monster that they need an effect to go off. You just Effect Veiler and sometimes just stop them right in their tracks. But it's good. You can use it more than once per turn as well. So that is it for the monsters. Spells, you knew it was coming. pretty much the best, kaiju spell in the game. Interrupted Kaiju Slumber. You're just going to blow up the board, destroy all monsters on the field, and then you special summon one kaiju to your opponent's field and one to your field. Super cool. And also it's got a graveyard effect. You can banish this from the graveyard and just add a kaiju monster from your deck to your hand. Absolutely amazing. And another extremely good card is Yugioh Waterfront. This is your field spell. It's your way of holding kaiju counters. Basically, each time a card is sent from the field to the graveyard, so any card on either player's field is sent from the field to the graveyard, you place a kaiju counter on this. It can only hold a maximum of 5. And then while you have 3 counters on this, you can just straight up add a kaiju monster from your deck to your hand. And then also, if this card to be destroyed, you can remove a kaiju counter from this card instead. But it's mostly, like I said, your way of easily holding kaiju counters for all your kaiju effects to go off. And then another way is with kaiju files. It's not as important as Yugioh Waterfront, that's why I just play one. It's a nice continuous one. But basically, each time a kaiju monster is special summoned from the hand or the graveyard, you can place a kaiju counter on this card. And again, it can only hold a maximum of 5. And then once per turn, you can target one kaiju on the field, destroy that monster, then special summon a kaiju with a different name from your deck to the controller's field. So that's pretty cool as well, to kind of just switch out to whatever kaiju you want at the time. And then you can send this card with 3 or more kaiju counters to the graveyard and add a kaiju spell and trap from your deck to your hand, which will always be Interrupted Kaiju Slumber. So it's an easy way of searching Kaiju Slumber as well. And then we are also playing 3 Called by the Grave. You don't want to be, Ash Blossom or anything on like a Yugioh Waterfront or like your Interrupted Kaiju Slumber. You want all those to go through. So Called by the Grave, super important. And also, said it many times before, it's really good as a defensive card as well. Your opponent tries to target something in their graveyard, you simply just banish it. Super cool. And then again, we're going second. So Mind Control, really nice. You do have to remember, though, you cannot control 2 kaijus. So you can't, special summon a kaiju to your opponent's field, special summon one to your board, and then mind control that kaiju back. You cannot do that, but any other problematic monsters, mind control is really nice for. We're also playing 1 Terraforming to search out our amazing field spell. And then a really nice card to play in this is Scapegoat. Most of the time, you're going to be ending your board with just 1 monster, like 1 kaiju. And so Scapegoat, so you'll have 4 spaces open. So Scapegoat is really nice to just fill all those spots. And then on your next turn, go into a whole bunch of link plays, break your opponent's board easily. Scapegoat's really nice. And then the final card is just an Upstart Goblin. Just some kind of draw power. We're playing a 40-card deck, so this is really nice to just, make your deck a little bit smaller. And then for the extra deck, since we are playing Scapegoat and actually even our Radiant tokens that we create, you can make a Link Spider and then be able to go and Link Climb easily, go into your Nightmares, whatever you need. But 2 Link Spiders and then 1 Link Karibo. That's kind of your Scapegoat package, so you can easily kind of do whatever you want, go into Link 4s fairly easily. So another really cool card to play in this is Akashic Magician. Because again, you can use your tokens to go into like Link Spider, and if you make 2 Link Spiders, then you can go into Akashic Magician. And when this card is Link summoned, you return all monsters the card points to the hand. So it points up or down. So ideally, you'll want to special summon, like tribute a kaiju to your opponent's field and have it in a zone that Akashic Magician can potentially point to. And then when you do Link summon her and it's pointing to that kaiju, that your opponent controls, you can then return that back to your hand and then kaiju another monster. So this is just a cool little gimmicky card for the deck. Really nice though. And then I mentioned it, but we are playing the Nightmares. They break boards. Simple as that. You could always destroy your opponent's kaiju that you give them. Nightmare Phoenix, getting rid of spells and traps. And then Unicorn, returning a card on the field to the deck is always nice. And then Barricade Board Blocker is a good option to, just another way of protecting Kyoto Waterfront. It does protect itself, but this is another way of just protecting them. And then the Topologics are, again, another nice one to easily link up into with your Link Spiders, Link Karibos, Nightmare cards. Trisbania is going to get rid of spells and traps, and then Topologic Bomber is going to get rid of monsters in the main monster zones. And then our other Link 4s that we play in are Saryuja. You have obviously an option of making this with like a Kaiju, and then you activate Scapegoat. You can go into a Saryuja usually, or you can also go into a Borreload fairly easily, which is again especially in a Kaiju deck. Borreload is absolutely amazing. And then the final card that I'm playing, and actually this is only a 13 card extra deck. I didn't think of anything else that I really wanted to play in it. So obviously you can insert any card that you want, but the last one is just an Omega. If you happen to activate a Gamma on your turn, and get out a Gamma and a Driver, it's nice to go into an Omega and just rip another card out of your opponent's hand. So that is a pretty cool thing right there. But yeah, that's the deck, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and also let me know what you think this mystery deck might be. But yeah, that is my pure as can be, Kaiju deck. So I hope you guys liked it, and we'll catch you on the next one.